You didn't do anything wrong. You just started winning. And somehow, that changed everything. The moment you began rising, something shifted in the people around you. The tone got colder. The congratulations came slower. Jealousy doesn't walk in through the front door. It slips in through the side, dressed as concern, humor, and support. And by the time you feel it, it's already been working on you for a while. Your growth didn't just show them what was possible. It showed them every excuse they'd been telling themselves. And some people would rather tear down your house than build their own. The first move jealous people make is one most people never catch in real time. They become strangely, theatrically unimpressed. You share good news, and instead of warmth, you get a flat, measured response that somehow makes you feel worse than silence would have. Real support feels warm in your chest. Jealous support feels cold in your spine. And the difference isn't volume, it's presence. Their reaction isn't really about you. Your win reminded them of something they don't want to think about, the risk they didn't take, the version of themselves they quietly gave up on. So they flatten your excitement just enough to make it feel smaller. But here's what makes this dangerous. Jealousy almost never stays obvious. It is one of the most sophisticated social performances a human being can execute, because it has to be. Open hostility is easy to cut off. You can name it, confront it, walk away from it. But disguised jealousy is a slow leak. At work, they repeat your idea louder, then act generous for mentioning you afterward. In private, they ask how you stay so disciplined, then mock your seriousness the following week. In groups, they interrupt your story at the exact moment people start leaning toward you. None of those moves looks huge in isolation. Each one is deniable. Each one can be explained away. But together, they form a pattern. And patterns don't lie, even when people do. Pause here for a moment. Think about your own life. Is there someone whose warmth seems to operate on an inverse scale? The better you do, the colder they become? Hold that person in mind. Because everything that comes next is going to click much harder with a face attached to it. One of the most disorienting things jealous people do is become sudden experts on your flaws. Not because your flaws changed, but because your strengths became harder to deny. Suddenly your confidence becomes arrogance. Your standards become ego. Your boundaries become attitude, and your peace becomes aloofness. Notice how those labels appear after you stop shrinking. Before that, they never had a problem with you. But the moment you became self-directed and less available, they needed a new story. Here is a move that stings more than most people expect. They start copying what they once mocked. Your morning routine, your reading habit, your way of dressing, your ambition, they laughed at it first. Then quietly, without acknowledgement, they start doing the exact thing they ridiculed. They want the results without ever admitting the approach had value. They want to borrow your formula while continuing to talk down to you. Because the moment they acknowledge you were right, they have to acknowledge they were wrong. And small people will keep living the wrong way before they'll admit that someone they envy figured it out first. There is another move that is harder to spot because it looks like absence rather than aggression. The disappearing act. You get healthy, you get clear, you set a boundary they used to cross freely, and the calls just stop. But pay attention to what happens when things go wrong. You lose the client, have a hard week, go quiet on social media. They come back fast. That speed tells you something. It tells you they weren't gone because they were busy. They were gone because you stopped being useful in the way they needed. Your pain raises their importance. Your struggle gives them a role. Your reduced confidence is the only version of you they feel safe around. That is not friendship. That is appetite. And you deserve to recognize the difference. Now here's the layer that takes time to understand, because on the surface it looks like closeness. Smart jealous people don't attack you openly, they operate through implication. The joke that lands a little too sharp, the compliment that leaves you vaguely unsettled. Implication is their weapon of choice because implication is deniable. If you react, you look unstable. If you laugh it off, they file it as a win. So here's what you do instead. You stop reacting, and you start observing. When someone makes a sharp joke at your expense, don't rush to laugh to protect the mood. Pause. Hold eye contact. Explain that, not loud, not aggressive, just calm and direct, like you already know what happened and you're simply waiting for them to say it out loud. Jealous people hate being pulled out of implication into direct language. Implication is safe. Direct language requires ownership, and ownership is exactly what they've been working to avoid. One of the most powerful things I ever learned about protecting my peace was this. You do not need proof to reduce someone's access to your life. You need a pattern. When you leave a conversation feeling smaller without being able to say why, that is data. When someone's support feels like surveillance, that is data. When you instinctively hide good news from someone who calls themselves your friend, that is data. Your body reads concealed aggression before your mind is willing to admit it. The tightness in your chest, the second guessing after every interaction, the way you shrink slightly whenever they enter the room. Trust that signal. You don't need their confession. You don't need the moment where they finally admit what they were doing. You just need your own clarity. Now let's talk about the move that tends to come last, but leaves the deepest mark. When jealous people realize they can no longer control your emotions directly, they shift to something more ambient. They start managing your reputation. You become different to mutual friends. Arrogant. Cold. Hard to be around lately. Listen to that language closely. Different usually means harder to use. Arrogant usually means you stopped apologizing for your confidence. Too much usually means your standards got expensive and their access lost its discount. These are not observations. They are pressure tactics, designed to reach you through other people's mouths. To rebuild the social pressure you stopped responding to directly. And the worst part is it sometimes works. Because when the people around us start whispering the same thing, even the most grounded version of ourselves starts wondering. Is it me? Did I change too much? Should I go back to who I was? Don't. The version of you that made them uncomfortable is the version of you that was finally becoming free. There is one more thing, and this tends to happen right before your most important moments. You're about to launch something, speak up, apply for something, make a move that could change everything. And right then, they get brutally honest. I'm just saying, have you really thought this through? I care about you, which is why I'm telling you this. I just don't want to see you embarrassed. It sounds like love. It sounds like someone looking out for you. But notice the timing. Real honesty doesn't arrive at the exact moment your confidence is highest and the cost of doubt is greatest. Real honesty makes you clearer. It gives you information that helps you move better. Jealous honesty makes you smaller. It plants a seed of hesitation specifically designed to bloom at the worst possible moment. Learn to feel the difference, and your life gets quieter, cleaner, and much harder to poison. Here is what I want you to take from all of this. Their behavior is not a reflection of your worth. It is a reflection of what your worth does to their self-image. Your discipline irritates them because it exposes their excuses. Your calm irritates them because it exposes their chaos. Your boundaries irritate them because it ends the free access they used to have to your energy. They're not reacting to your flaws. They are reacting to your value. And the moment you truly absorb that, not just understand it, but feel it, something changes. Their behavior stops feeling like an attack. It starts feeling like information. And information, unlike attack, doesn't need to wound you. It just needs to be seen. So move quieter. Share less with people who haven't earned access to your process. Let results do the speaking that insecure people can never stand to hear. Stop chasing warmth from anyone who only offers it when you are struggling. Stop letting them write the story of who you are. Because you outgrew the version of yourself they were comfortable with. And the fact that that makes them uncomfortable. That's not your problem to solve. That's your proof you're on the right path.
Like to learn more about human psychology? Like, comment, and share this video. Subscribe my channel now. Thank you for watching.